literally dropping a massive, massive opportunity when you do that, okay? Like, other veterans in this community will probably agree with this, but like, think about it. A bunch of dumb fuck dickheads from like Iowa that have never thought about anything, that have never had any sort of organizational structure in their lives, all of a sudden are due to the poverty draft or due to one reason or another, finding themselves in this like massive fucking jobs program. And in the aftermath of like all of the like the basic training and the actions that they engage in, especially if they go on tour, if they're active duty, they come back and they're like, this shit sucks. That's an opportunity ripe for radicalization in the appropriate direction, as opposed to just being like, you're a war criminal, fuck you. You know? In any case, it doesn't matter. Many of the people are just on the logistics sides anyway. It's just like a fucking massive jobs program. I wish that it was a jobs program that focused on building bridges and shit instead of just, you know, murdering children. But regardless, when a lot of people are in this system, it opens their eyes up to said reality.
What motivated?
Here, yeah, this is the type of shit I'm talking about. I just don't think it's like a smart strategic decision to automatically oppose people. But that's just not who I am anyway. Like when I see someone from Israel, I don't immediately assume that they're going to be like super invested, hyper Zionist. I just don't. Until people show you who they are, don't make any assumptions. That's the appropriate thing to do.
Did you to enlist? Poverty. I joined the Army because of poverty. You know, the number one recruitment tool of the United States military is to go to...
Have you not seen the polls? I have. It still doesn't matter. It still doesn't matter. I never will, and I will never do that. It doesn't matter. I have seen it. Overwhelming majority of Jewish Israelis fucking love what Israel's doing, okay, in Gaza. And still, I'm not going to automatically start with that, okay? I'm not going to automatically start with that assumption. Obviously, you can very quickly fucking figure it out. Yeah, remember what Norm said about his parents? Not the same, of course, but about Germans? Yeah, I know. Except even in that conversation, Norm Finkelstein understands that like it's kind of fucked up that his parents feel that way. It's more so an understanding of what they've gone through. You do realize that, right? Because in that story that he describes, he's talking about a German friend of his that he is bringing home to his parents. Like, the point is, it's still not the best idea to automatically assume that that someone that you're talking to, even from an in-group that's like overwhelmingly in favor of this like incredibly fucked up thing, you shouldn't have your starting position be this assumption. And there are obviously going to be instances where that leads to that unwinds and leads to failure down the line. I mean, come on, you know that. I'm just giving you my perspective. You can tell me that you can sit here and explain to me how combative you are to every single person, but I think it's important not to be that way, especially because it's good to always operate under the assumption that you can change people's minds by communicating with them, by getting them to understand your worldview. And that's how you bring more reliable allies on your side.
Impoverished areas and offer things that America doesn't offer you, like healthcare, housing, income, stability. We offer our soldiers socialism to go abroad and defend capitalism. And I was too poor to say no. I was in the Army from 2001 to 2014, served in Iraq and Afghanistan, both theaters. I got out of the military 7 years short of a 20-year career, and that doesn't happen that much. And the reason I did is because the longer I was in the military, the more I saw what America did abroad and what we were really, our true motivations were, it made me realize that America was not on the right path. And, you know, I would talk to Iraqis and say, hey, why do you hate America so much? And they would say, you know, you invaded our country, you blew our neighborhoods up. I started realizing, shit, maybe we're the bad guys. So, you know, coming back home.
Like, the easiest thing to say to this guy is to basically be like, huh, wow, well, I didn't have to join the military to see that. Fuck you, right? I mean this sincerely. I think it's because I'm fucking Turkish and not from, like, I didn't grow up in America that I don't have such a hardline stance on people like this. I don't know. Like, people in America will oftentimes be like, well, tell that to a guy who was victim to this kind of violence. Like, tell that to a Iraqi person. But I feel like people over there are way more chill about, like, even veterans that have done horrible shit that, like, understand that it was fucked up and are actually actively working against it. You know what I mean? It's more so, like, the more, like, aggro stance often comes from, like, Americans that want to feel a sense of, like, moral superiority. It's at the heart of, like, purity politics in some ways. It's masquerades as, like, an act of self-defense and solidarity, but, dude, I can't believe it. Someone came in and did this shit. That's so funny. Remember we were talking about this earlier? Like, some dude tuned in on mobile, and at that time I had 6K viewers when he first tuned in. So, like, almost an hour ago. He tuned in almost an hour ago. Waited for, like, holy shit, I'm kidding, Lamau. Oh, okay. All right. Well, some people do that unironically. The thing is, if you're American and haven't joined the military, you're still profiting off the military actions and still complicit. I mean, that's irrelevant. That's not even the point I'm making. The point I'm making is, yeah, people do fucked up shit. You have to focus on rehabilitation. You have to always, as your first principle, you have to believe that people have the capacity to change and learn from their actions and demonstrate the capacity to change. You have to give them the space to be able to do so. And it certainly requires a level of acceptance that I think a lot of Americans just don't have. They're so draconian. Cancel culture is a part of it. Purity politics is a part of it. And it also even extends all the way to our criminal justice system. Like, as someone who believes in criminal justice reform, I'm firmly committed to this cause that people, no matter how heinous their crimes may be, especially if they're a product of the system that they were born into, that they have the capacity to change. That's it.
Getting off the Kool-Aid and realizing what my country really is, which is a place where white supremacy has never been held accountable. White supremacy is the root of this whole thing, and it's never been held accountable. There's never been a time where we corrected the wrongs of white supremacy. And so we're taught from a young age to put our hand over our heart and declare our allegiance to a flag, but that flag never declares its allegiance back. In a relationship where love is only sent one way, that's toxic. If my own child was in a relationship and they loved their significant other, but their significant other ignored them, wouldn't provide them housing, wouldn't take them to the hospital when they were sick, wouldn't feed them when they were hungry, wouldn't let them in when they were cold, then I would tell my child to get the hell out of this toxic relationship. But yet here in America, we're told to stay in that relationship because that's patriotism. Patriotism is demanding better of your country. And where we're at now is where America was always heading because we chose not to hold white supremacy to account and because we chose not to provide the most basic needs of a society.
And Rocky Wizard says, I've spoken to soldiers when I was young. Most literally said they regret their choice or how they felt bad that America is invading. I always found it odd how honest some of them were. Yeah, dude. I mean, obviously, you're still the primary victim in that situation because that motherfucker's there and he's got a gun. You know what I mean? And he can kill you and get away with it. So obviously, it's ridiculous. But yeah. Check logs. Good story about meeting an Israeli. I was out flying from Palestine. An Israeli showed up and told me he was Israeli, and I immediately thought I'd get abused by him. And we proceeded to have a convo about how fucked up the IDF does, and he regrets what he did. I tried to get him into activism. He wasn't really up for it, but I'm glad that I gave him a chance. Yeah. This isn't Jewish exceptionalism before people fucking freak out, okay? This is understanding that every little bit helps. Always remember that, okay? It's quite difficult to go up against these incredibly cruel systems that have been designed to normalize this kind of violence, okay? There's no recognition from politicians. There's no real democratic process. If you understand that, then you understand that in order for change to happen, you need every person you can get on board. You just got to chip away at it every single day. That's why I don't immediately cast people aside. Obviously, that doesn't mean I'm going to be a sucker, right? Like, this charitability doesn't extend to people who are malicious actors. It doesn't. But I wait a little bit to read the room, to see how someone behaves. Hassan, you sound so scared of your chat. This is one of my favorite idiotic terms that I hear in the chat. It's like, I yell at my chat all the fucking time, dumbass. Shut the fuck up. There has never been a moment where it's not my way or the highway. Like, people come in here and they go, oh, you're fucking worried about how your community is going to react if you say something or do something. It's like, no, I'm not. That's why there's unlimited clip compilations of me fucking yelling at people who are woke of the day, for example. Doing it right now, as a matter of fact.
And so when this is over, we can't go back to the status quo.
Anyway, just we took a sidestep there, but just a reminder, if you're active duty, you have no obligation to follow an unlawful order. It is literally something that you do not have to do. Anyway, Sam Husseini, my goat, he is a journalist. He says, Petro's speech is getting far too little attention, including in the left media. It was deeply humanistic. Here's one component from the speech. Let's take a look. He says, there's no superior race. There's no chosen people of God. It is neither the United States nor Israel. The chosen people of God is all of humanity. That's what he said. For every one soldier, there's like this. There's like 4 like this that brag about fucking kicking kids in Afghanistan. The first time Fred kicked a kid in Afghanistan, he pointed an imaginary AK at me. No chocolate for him. Wait, what? Yeah, bro, there's fucking psychos. Remember, dude, chatter. Remember, this is the American military we're speaking of, okay? Which means it's going to be very diverse, and it is going to have a multitude of different opinions, okay, within each person who's serving. And there's gonna be some fucking freaks, dude. Of course. I never said that there aren't motherfucking freaks. Yeah, there's degrees to this shit. That's why I don't have a issue shitting on veterans, okay? This is something I talk about all the time. On the one hand, like I said, I don't automatically assume that just because someone's a veteran that they're like a fucking war criminal, monstrous piece of shit and their worldview is awful or whatever. But I also don't do the opposite either. Because on the opposite end of the spectrum, you got those who just do that like aesthetic posturing where it's like, thank you for your service, sir. Thank you for defending my free speech. Like, I don't do any of that shit either. Okay? I don't do any of that shit either. You know this. I mean, there's one veteran with an eye patch that I talked big shit about, if you recall, in a very famous incident that got me in a lot of trouble at the time, okay? Calm down. You just got to treat people like people, okay? That's my point. My point is, no, not Big Boss, not my goat, not Iroquois Pliskin, Big Boss, Snake. I'm talking about the loser with the eye patch. I would never talk shit on Big Boss, okay? Hasanabi was a Trump supporting idiot, and I checked out your content out of pure curiosity, and now I'm the loudest Marxist-Leninist in my family. Thanks, King. Hell yeah. Did you see Theo Von say Free Palestine? Theo Von's been saying Free Palestine, bro. Iroquois Pliskin is his son? Yes. Solid Snake. I was born in Israel. I served in the army, and only a few months before 7/10, I started watching your stream. It was only thanks to you I changed my mind and became an anti-Zionist. See, there you go. Anyway, where the fuck were we?